Well, I wanted to talk to you guys about suicide today. Um, if it makes you uncomfortable, you don't have to say. I just was thinking, about that process, and I was listening to the song Lonely by Justin Bieber, which I relate so hard to. I grew up with two very narcissistical, critical parents, and I am autistic, so everything I did kind of wasn't good enough ever. And even when I was around other people, I didn't get relief because of my autism. People didn't understand me, so they would leave me. Um, and that's everything simplified. I was thinking about my process of why I wanted to commit suicide and all my attempts. And I've had about 27 attempts, two of which I have scars from, and I'm not going to show. Um, but simply put, that's why I wear, wrist cuffs and the collar. Um, so it's just my suicide attempts stemmed from my suicide attempts and wanting to commit suicide stemmed from being lonely, stemmed from the weight of the pain of waking up every day and not seeing any hope. Growing up, every day I would wake up, there'd be something my parents had to complain about my tendencies as an autistic person, and about, frankly, who I was as a person. My body, my mouth, my mind, whatever, And it wasn't just them, it was other people. I have audio photographic memory. I do not have regular photographic memory. When I hear things, I remember the memory exactly like how I experienced, which is what people with photographic memory experience. But for me, it's triggered by audio. So when I was 5 years old, I went through a horrible sexual assault, and I have scars and deep trauma from that. So when I hear a young girl or child scream because of my audio photographic memory and my trauma, I'm taken back to that place. And I have complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And it's the level of, like, when veterans come home from war. Like that one movie, Megan, when she has not Megan, that one with the dog, but she was like a bomber, and so her dog would sniff out bombs. So she heard a car alarm, and she thought it was a bomb, you know, in the movie. And she's taken back to being on the field and having the bombs go off and being on a minefield. And for me, I'm very, very visual in my mind, so I can picture everything. So when I hear a child scream, that's not just a simple scream. It's like a certain octave and level, especially with most females. When I hear a child scream, I'm taken back to that moment. I'm seeing it happen. Not only seeing it happen, I'm feeling it happen, remembering the words, the sensations, the disgusting fingers on my skin, my body, and the fact that my parents never knew, and that it's happened several times. And anytime I would try to tell my parents, well, that never happened. I'm sorry you remember it that way. Anything they said was correct. Nothing I ever said or did was correct. And so for suicide, I wanted relief from that pain, that loneliness. The every time I would hear a sound or a noise, those horrible memories being triggered, and not just that, but other memories. The remembering of all my tendencies of growing up autistic and people my own age not understanding me, so I had to be held back. Even then, they still didn't understand me, so they would leave because they couldn't handle me, you know? I don't get what it is about everything that autistic people say and do. Neurotypical people have to always find some way to misunderstand whatever they're saying. They don't believe that you're saying exactly what you mean and you mean what you say. But what I wanted to say about suicide, for me, I didn't want to go through that cycle every day. Yes, there's good things about life, like the sunlight and the river and the trees and my girlfriend and her eyes and her laugh and her smile and her support and her kindness. Um, you know, my grandma. Certain places, certain people, like the card shop up in my local town. Yeah, there's great things about life. But that is not the core reason of why somebody shouldn't commit suicide, you know? Like when people say, "Oh, but it gets better." No, it doesn't. You know it gets better? Your tolerance to the pain. Your pain tolerance gets better. Life doesn't get better. You can change your life. That's the point of manifestation, healing, therapy, and, living. But it isn't that life gets better. It's that you have better pain tolerance. So every time I hear a scream now, that pain I am used to. I am so used to that it is normal. So my pain tolerance has become very high. So when that memory triggers now, yes, it's horrible, but I'm so used to it that I accept it as my daily life. And I find ways to cope through it. That's what therapy is. That is what psychiatry is. That is what, healing is finding what works to help give you better pain tolerance, to help regulate your emotions. Do you know why you need to regulate your emotions? To make other people feel comfortable. Because God forbid you start crying in public. Why? Because somebody's going to say, "Hey, could you shut up or do that somewhere else? Because I'm uncomfortable." I cannot emphasize the amount of times where, as an autistic child, I would have a meltdown in public. And my parents would, pull me out of that situation. My dad used to restrain me on the floor, lay on top of me and restrain me to the floor as a 5 to 12-year-old child. Actually, to 14 years of age. Anytime I had a meltdown. And if it happened in public, I would be taken to a car and spanked till there was a red handprint on my ass and that I was scratched and bruised. Because I was told that my behaviors were unacceptable because they made other people uncomfortable. And if people didn't understand them, what they did understand is it makes me uncomfortable, but that you're feeling the way you feel. So make me feel comfortable. It's the same spiel with women wearing whatever they want. Men are uncomfortable because, their urges get the best of them. But that's not the woman's problem. That's the man's problem, And if a child bothers me in public, again, yes, a mom's job is, if she has a kid, to be a mom, whatever that looks like for her. But it's not my job, because her child is screaming. As much as my pain comes up, it is not my job to make me feel comfortable. That's not her job. That's not anybody's job to make you feel comfortable, And so when people say, "Hey, I'm uncomfortable because you're crying," okay, it is not my job to make you feel comfortable. Then leave my space and time if it bothers you. I don't get why other people have to make their, other people's, I don't know why other people have to make their problems other people's problems. And I get I've made all my problems your guys' problem, but I just wanted to say it's not that life gets better. It's that your pain tolerance gets better. It's that you get used to being mistreated and you're like, okay, this is part of everyday life. Thank you for your time and energy. Thank you for listening to me. Blessed be, and may you have at least someone brighten your day.